Hey there, everybody. Radical Moderate back once again. We got a video from New Republic. Marjorie Taylor Greene's new climate theory is absurd. It's also very smart. Okay, where are we going with this? The New Republican strategy in climate change is to admit it's happening, but to argue it's actually very good. Voters will find that optimism compelling. Okay, I'm promising you guys. Click subscribe here, because I'm going to tell you why you should subscribe to this channel. I'm going to predict where this article goes. I'm going to predict what Marjorie Greene says, because I already know the science. Me and her. We already know what's up. All right, thank you for clicking subscribe. Also hit like while you're at it. So here's what I predict Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to say is the science. CO2 is going up. It's a good thing because plants use CO2 to grow faster. It's called global greening. Matt Ridley, search him on YouTube, has talked about this before. Okay, since about 1970s, they would have satellites pointed at the Earth, measuring the color of the Earth, and we've observed that over the past 50 years, the Earth has gotten greener. So some parts where it's been had like so many plants, the plants are growing thicker and more lush because there's more carbon dioxide in the air. Really? Is this a real thing? Yes. Some hemp farms, cannabis farms, will enrich the air with CO2 up to 1,200 parts per million. Right now we're at 350, 370-ish. And they say, oh, if we get to 400, it'd be so bad. Plants can grow up to 1,200. So the plants don't mind it. Then they say that, oh, well, what's going to happen is it's going to heat up the Earth so much, and so that's going to kill off all the life. Well, actually, what happens is it warms it up, but what happens is it warms up water. Water evaporates mostly over the oceans. You get more clouds. More clouds blocks the light. It all balances out in the end. And so it's not a bad thing to have. So actually, if we started lowering our CO2 levels down, our crop yields across everywhere in the world would go down. Everyone's crop yields are actually boosted by this higher level of CO2 right now. If we artificially dropped our CO2 like 20% right now in the air, we would cause a famine. Seriously. So that's something to consider here. Now, obviously, we wouldn't do that overnight. That's something that's going to happen. But that's what I predict where this article is going to go. Let's see if I'm right and why you should obviously subscribe to the channel for more good insight. As heat wave, wildfires, and water shortages droughts ravage the country, Republicans have been forced to abandon climate denial. I recently know Republicans had switched from denial to delay. The idea of global warming is happening, but it's not an urgent problem. Right now, the stance is there joined on many centrist Democrats, especially those funded by fossil fuel industry. But, excuse me, I'm hiccuping. But in this position, probably can't be sustained indefinitely, given its obvious inconsistency. If there's a climate crisis, shouldn't we address this? Far-right Georgia Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, wow. This article goes ham. A racist anti-Semite? They link to this. Kevin McCarthy lead blasting Marjorie's Holocaust remarks. But what makes her intentional decision is appalling. But how does that make her an anti-Semitic, though? Hold on, I need to search for the word anti. Nearly 4 months after condemning her comments on anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. What do you mean, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories? I'm going to stay on the rabbit hole right here, sorry. I want to know if that's true or not. You can never trust these articles these days. Who's up for re-election this year is now offering one vision on what Republican Party may switch to after climate denial. Like climate denial is awful uses. Greene argues that climate change exists, but it's actually good. The Earth is warming. Carbon is actually healthy for us, Greene said in an interview on the Right Side Broadcasting News Network. Greene is right that routine cold kills... that the routine cold does kill people in the winter, and that's terrible. Unfortunately, the distribution caused by climate change is even worse than that. Since Greene gave this interview in June, Pakistan has the deadliest floods and monsoons ever, with 1/3 of the country underwater. I highly doubt that. Nearly one. That doesn't sound like that many people actually, and millions are homeless. The region has suffered dozens of heat waves. Okay, that's an antidote though. That's called weather. People are trying to take down people like Greene through purely legalistic means has predictably failed. Some have tried to challenge her re-election bid with her open sympathies with the January 6, 2021 riders. But a judge ruled that she could stay on the ballot. Yeah, when you can't beat them, try to take them off the ballot. As stupid as Greene seems to those who aren't inclined to agree with her climate change is actually good, it's probably the... You don't even put her statement in any context. It's amazing. Of course, they would never tell you her position. We're just going to smear it. Amazing. Amazing. Oh, sorry, I got a kitty on my lap. Greene's narrative isn't much more appealing than the left's climate change theory. On a bad day, the story amounts to everything is getting worse, and the only problem is you must give everything up you enjoy too. No foreign travel, steak, or shopping. Something on the climate left, even that people shouldn't even have pets because climate impact. One commenter recently recalled on domestic animals as another form of destructive consumerism. Well, they're not wrong. It's if you want to be pure and hardcore about your veganism and veganism should be abandoned really for whatever is best for the environment. Nope, shouldn't have clicked on that. The right is, of course, wrong to fantasize about the climate crisis, ushering in a or AOC, whatever. Some on the left realized this years ago, which is why we've been pushing for visions like the Green New Deal, which emphasize people can gain for more sustainable lifestyles. Okay. What do you mean by more sustainable lifestyles? Green message shows why this kind of approach is important. We must be real about the devastation of climate change is causing, but attacking things people enjoy won't help. Life is hard enough. So I'm not just urban. Let's see here. Greene is expected to win her re-election. Easy to see why. On the same right-wing podcast, the host referred to Trump party boats. If you're lucky enough to miss the trend, jubilant white Americans have been partying on boats festooned with banners supporting former President Trump's 2020 as part of Trump's re-election campaign and are still going strong. Asked why there's no Biden party boats, Greene first spewed some hateful, ageist nonsense about the president. But then she said something painfully true. Democrats aren't about having fun. You can say that's true. They're the new puritanical right that we used to have back in the 90s. Oh, you can't do this because that's a sin. That's demonic. Remember when the right used to say, oh, Dungeons and Dragons was demonic? They're not saying that anymore. They're the edgy boys. And they're the counterculture. Sadly, I get what she means. Let's see here. She's wrong on the facts. Climate change is real. The devastation is caused not good. You don't even know what facts she said. But politics requires stories about how things could keep getting better. Yeah, everybody wants to feel like when we elect so-and-so, it'll get better. We do have such a story. Unlike Marjorie Taylor Greene's story, ours is true. It's going to like this. By addressing climate crisis, we're going to make our world better. We shouldn't try to undo Greene's callous and mendacious brand of optimism. Instead, telling the truth about climate, we can make a more genuine, hopeful narrative. Lisa Featherstone. Okay, why don't you guys talk about nuclear energy at all in this entire article? Instead, the entire thing was a bashing Marjorie Taylor Greene. Great article. 10 out of 10. Would read again. Leave a comment down below. Please subscribe. Radically Moderate out of here.